You have plans for the Cup? What everybody's sort of wondering what you're doing.
Well, the plans aren't really ironed out yet, but I'll be getting it the 6th and 7th of August. So still kind of have to figure out the details, but you know, those are my dates
Will
to have
you be here
it.
in Cole Harbour or Rimouski possibly? Or
I'm not sure yet. I mean, the Natal Day Parade is on the Monday there, the 7th. So we've kind of thrown that idea around. I just want to get as many people as possible to see it. So,
okay.
You know, that seems like it'd be a good fit.
You're not even 30 years old yet. You've won a ton of awards. Every award there basically is to win in your sport. What's next for you? What do you want next?
Just getting ready for next season. That's the way I approach it, and I think when you're able to have a couple seasons like we have, I mean, there's lots of motivation, and there's guys coming back that have experienced that. There's guys that'll be new to the team that want to be a part of that. So I think there's still a lot of motivation, and yeah, I think when it's fresh in your mind like that, it pushes you to want to get back there.
Any thoughts on the Olympics, Sid, while you're here? Never say never, but what do you think?
I mean, it's not looking good right now. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of talk about it since it was announced that you know, we wouldn't be going. So I think you know, everybody's kind of thinking that's the way it's going to be as of right now. But you know, we'll see.
What do you think about Connor McDavid's new contract that will make him the highest player in the league when it kicks in after next season?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty fitting. You look at the year that he's had and his potential over the course of his career. I think you know, he's certainly a guy who's well deserving of that. And you know, with the salary cap, you know, continuing to go up, you know, I'm sure there'll be room to keep other players. But yeah, I think it's you know, a contract he deserves.
What are your thoughts on Marc-Andre Fleury going to the new Las Vegas team in the expansion?
Yeah, it's going to be weird to see him in a different uniform. You know, I was at the awards when they made the announcement, so you know, I think, you know, right away it's different, but I think he's going to be great for them. He did so much for us and for our city and Pittsburgh, and yeah, I think that you know, they're lucky to have him, and you know, we were lucky to spend as much time as we did, and to have him, you know, in the net for so long.
They said 3 years with the hockey school now. How rewarding is it for you giving back to the community and the kids you have here?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, every year to see, you know, where the kids come from, and to hear their story and how they got here, and yeah, I don't think that ever gets old. But I think, you know, the one thing is just the volunteers. I mean, we don't have this if there's not the amount of volunteers that are here. So it means a lot to be able to run the camp, but it also means a lot to know that there's so many people that want to help, that want to give back themselves, and they're really what makes the camp. So that's a big part of it, and that's a fun part of it too.
So you've got kids from every province in Canada and from 32 states in the U.S.?
I'm not quite sure of the breakdown, but it's certainly from all over. Yeah, so that's the cool part. They get to come to Cole Harbour. They get to see Halifax. You know, it's the camp, but also kind of the whole experience itself.
So one of the fascinating things about your continued ability to win championships is how you also seem to have managed how to recover from repeated concussions. I'm wondering how much pride you take in that, whether you learned anything from the early concussions and how to treat, manage, recover, and also what sort of signal that may be sending to others who either have concussions or whose kids might get concussions.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have too much practice at having to recover from, say that. But I think that, you know, the more time that goes by, the more you learn about it. You know, when you have gone through it, I think you try to learn as much as you can, and how you respond and things to look for. And I think going back to when I got my first one, there wasn't a protocol. There wasn't a lot of information out there as far as how to handle them. There's such a tough injury as far as symptoms and things like that. Everybody's different, so You know, I would say that just everybody's continued to educate themselves, and I think as players, we've become more educated, and you know, you have to listen to your body at the end of the day, and you know, there's things in place to help you with that. But yeah, I think, you know, from my experience, obviously that first one was probably the worst one in severity, but you have to continue to kind of listen to your body and make sure that before you go back, you're good to go, and there's things in place to help with that.
What do you say to people that were sort of during the playoffs, like, are you going to retire after the last one? Like, is that sort of, I mean, you know your body. Like, when you were hearing that, what were you sort of thinking?
I didn't hear that. I mean, I don't really read or listen to any of that stuff, to be honest, during the playoffs. But it's a hot topic. I mean, that's the nature of it right now, and there's more and more information about concussions. But I think depending on the case and severity, there are ways to make sure you recover and get better. And yeah, I think that you just have to be smart with it. But I think with each year that passes, there's more and more information, and I think it's something that's good for everyone.
So is there something you did or your medical team did or does differently than the first one that you mentioned?
I think there's just more tests. There's more ways of diagnosing than there was, you know, 7 years ago. That's just because we know more about them, and you know, they become something that's talked about even more. So you know, with that attention, with that education, it's just awareness, and I think that's allowed everyone to kind of to learn a little bit more.
Such a long season last year. How are you feeling now? Can you catch up in these short summers that you've been having?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have long seasons, but it doesn't give you much time to prepare for the next one. So I think you have to find out how to manage that, and I started back, you know, kind of training this week. So it's exciting to kind of get back at it, but at the same time, you realize you don't have a lot of time. So a lot of guys have been training for a while and getting ready. So you know, I think that last year will be good experience, you know, for how I got ready, and with World Cup, you know, last year too, that was a pretty condensed summer, and felt like I handled it well. So kind of look to that, you know, to try to make sure that I'm ready for camp.
What do you think of this?
Talk about the Olympics and how you want that to play out when it comes to NHL players and whether they participate.
Yeah, I'd love to see us there. I mean, I think it's great for everybody. I think it's great for players. I think it's great for fans. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's not the case, but I think there's a lot to gain from being there.
What do you think of the Nova Scotia hockey right now? I mean, there's yourself, there's Brad, there's Nathan, like stars. Like, where do you think the state of hockey is, and just up and coming as well?
Yeah, it's fun. I think, you know, I think you're proud. You want to see local guys do well, and you know, as a kid growing up here, I remember looking up to different players. You know, Al McGinnis, Glenn Murray, Cam Russell. I mean, all these guys. You know, you look up to them, and you know, you think, hey, if this guy made it from here, I can do the same thing. And you'd go to tournaments in different places and play against, you know, teams that, you know, bigger population were supposed to be, you know, kind of the better teams. And when you go there and you find out, hey, we can play with these guys, that was a big confidence boost. So hopefully kids are kind of thinking that same way, and it looks like they are, judging by, you know, how kids are doing. So you know, that's really what it's about.
Following that question, Halifax Mooseheads defenseman Jared McIsaac is also from Cole Harbour, and he's entering his draft year right now, and his potential to go in the first round. Any advice for him, and have you seen him play at all yet?
I haven't seen him play, but I think, you know, the best advice I could give is just try to enjoy it. You know, junior hockey's some of the best times of your life, you know, that age, and there's a lot to be excited about with him and, you know, what's to come, but just try to enjoy it as much as you can. Those are great years, and just keep working hard, trust what's got you there, and things will kind of work out. But you know, when I look back to playing in Rimouski and all those games and all the people I met along the way, that's what I remember most.
So Game 6, Hornquist scores late, Hagelin pops the empty netter, you're on the ice with them, first guy to hug him against the glass, knowing that you just sealed the deal. What were you feeling at that moment?
A lot of joy, and that was, you know, such a crazy game. Both teams had some really good chances, and you know, when you're that close, you're watching the time tick down. You know that can go either way, and you're either that close to win or that close to going back for Game 7. So, you know, when Horny scored, he's so clutch, and you know, he's the same guy who scored in San Jose to clinch it, and it's no fluke. That guy's he's got that in him, and you know, to see Haggy in that foot race, you knew there's no way that anybody's catching him. So, yeah, just a great feeling, and you know, those are kind of moments that stick out in your mind. But being able to be out there for moments like that's pretty cool, and you know, kind of allows you to remember it and soak it up a little bit more.
How do you stay hungry after you win so often?
I think it's when it's that fresh and you experience that. You know, it's not like, you know, 2009, that was so long ago. I mean, it was a month ago, and you know, when you're able to kind of think about those emotions and how rewarding that was, and the group of guys that you have, and you know, what you share with them, I think that's what pushes you. And you know, as a player, you only have a window. There's only so long you have to experience that. So you try to do your best to, you know, to be at your best, but also to give yourself the opportunity to do that as much as you can.
How much longer in your mind?
7 or 8 more years. That's, you know, that's my contract. So.
We'd like to keep the rest of the questions focused on this week in hockey school, so we'll do about 7-8 more minutes max.
Okay, I have one for the hockey school.
Yeah.
When you are looking at these young up-and-coming hockey players, how much is raw talent and how much is hard work?
I think it's both. I mean, it's hard to put one ahead of the other, but I mean, I think the work ethic is probably the foundation of everything. I mean, and I just go based on, you know, what I've experienced and what I've seen. I mean, talent can only get you so far, and hard work is always kind of the foundation, you know, for anyone, and whether it's here at the hockey school or anything. I think that's what we try to teach here. I mean, you know, not everybody here is going to go to the NHL, but hopefully they can take some things out of it. And whether it's any other sport or just life in general, I think, you know, I think a good work ethic goes a long way. So I think that's really kind of what I look at.
A lot of these hockey schools that are just camps in general where an athlete attaches their name to it, they might make an appearance, but you seem to be here every day. Why do you come back every day?
Well, listen, there's a lot of volunteers who are coming here every day that are chasing kids around and could easily be doing other things with their summer. So, you know, I like being here. I like, you know, being around the kids, being around a lot of these volunteers are either family or friends or former coaches. So it's actually a great way for everyone to kind of see each other too. So it's nice the way it's worked out, you know, that way. But yeah, I think that it's important. I mean, you know, these volunteers take the time, and these kids are here to have a great experience, and you know, that's hopefully what I can do.
Are you also teaching them about off-ice behavior as well? Because that is a big part of the game, especially if you do play elite hockey.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. We're trying to do some off-ice stuff as far as, you know, off-ice conditioning and nutrition and stuff like that. And you know, we've got some really good people that are lending a hand, and you know, trying to teach the kids as much as they can. It's a lot for them to absorb, you know, all week. They're going, you know, pretty much 8 to 4, and I'm sure they're tired, and I don't know how much they're paying attention when it comes to the last session of the day, but hopefully there's something they can take away from it, and you know, even the parents too, hopefully there's something that they can hopefully take back with them too.
Mentorship must be really big to you too. I mean, Lemieux previously took you under his wing. How important is it to guide these younger players?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, you need to have role models. You need to have people that you can look up to, and you know, whether it's, you know, an NHL player or a teacher, or you know, there's instructors and volunteers here that hopefully have an impact with some of these kids. I mean, you know, the cool thing you hear about the hockey camp is how the kids kind of keep in touch, and it's so easy now with social media, and whether they're emailing each other or following each other, they keep in touch, and that's part of the experience. So, you know, what they might not get as far as hockey-wise, hopefully they can kind of form relationships and have an experience that they can look back on with great memories.
Your dad was a pretty accomplished goaltender in his own right. We've done Canadians back in the day. Do you get him strapping the pads on out here to win him?
It's funny. It's funny. Everyone always asks me that, but I've never shot at him. I've never seen him with the gear on with me on the ice. So I remember watching him when I was really young. He'd go out there at the odd time, but for whatever reason, I have never had the chance to shoot on him. He's always talked about doing it, but he doesn't actually do it. So
after seeing what's left of your dryer, I'm sure he's glad you got out on him.
Yeah, I like my chances a little bit more now than maybe when I was younger, but I'd still love the opportunity to see that.
Yeah.
3 more questions.
I just have a question. I'm just here from the Weather Network. Last year's parade was almost too hot, but it didn't stop.
Yeah.
The kids coming out in their jerseys, sweating. What kind of weather are you looking for this year?
A little less warmer than it was that day. I had a little bit of a later night the night before too, so it was, it was tough. I didn't realize that it was going to be that hot at 9 or 10 in the morning, but it was fun. And to see everyone turn out. I mean, you see all the chairs, everyone's kind of camped out along the sides. It's just, it's an experience. And when you think about bringing the cup home, that's the snapshots you have, or seeing the amount of people that are there. And yeah, I'm hoping the weather's always been great. Knocking on wood right now, so hopefully you can kind of stay the same.
What are your plans when you during the marathon? Like, what do you stick around Full Harbour? I just missed you guys at gas station last year. So did you travel around and play golf? What are your plans, vacation-wise?
I'm here for the most part. I mean, there's some off-ice things that I need to do that usually have to travel for, but they're usually either in Toronto or somewhere close. That's day or 2 trip. But for the most part, I'm here and around Halifax. So PEI is close, and I've always tried to get there at least once a summer. It's something I've always done, but shorter summers it seems to be a little bit harder. But yeah, I really enjoy coming back here. Friends and family are all back here, and it's just nice to stay put for a little bit and enjoy the summer here.
Are you looking on expanding camp? You have 1 week now. There's thousands and thousands of kids that never got in. Are you looking maybe for a 2-week, another camp, or stay with the one for now?
We haven't talked about it. I mean, the numbers certainly are there, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot to put on, and like you see the amount of people it takes to put it on. So I think that would be the biggest challenge if you did do a couple weeks. It's just it's staffing it and things like that. But also I think the quality is really good, and if you start spreading it out, you're not sure if you get that same impact. So with the numbers, it would be great. You want to get as many people as you can, but you also want to keep that feel that it has. So we'll see what happens, but right now it's just the 1 week.
When a kid applies for the camp and they are accepted, and they maybe can't afford it, is there any financial aid or scholarships that they can go through to help them out with that?
It's been discussed. I think for the most part we haven't had to deal with a situation like that, but there's always a lot of talk about sponsoring kids, and I know that there are sponsors that are willing to do that, so that's huge. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to help out in the community and help kids, so we know it's an expensive sport just for the gear alone, let alone hockey schools. So it's nice that there's sponsors willing to do that, but there's certain programs that go a long way with that.
Thank you. Thank you
all.
all.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.